How are you? Good to see you. So I hope you are in the right course. You know what's a course, right? Python, right? So Python for data sciences. First of all, so my name, if you don't know me, is Dr. Shakur. That was me. All right. And my office is in Engineering Tech, room 152. My email, as you know, was made. Sure. So, my email is apposnade@bridgeports.edu. All right. And my office, usually office hours, the office hours, usually it's Wednesday, I think it's from 2 to 5 p.m. or to 6 before the class, so it's Wednesday, all right? However, I am most of the time available in my office, and you could see me by appointment, you know. All right. So that's good. All right. Our way of communication is Canvas. So everything is posted in Canvas. Maybe this will be the first and the last paper I give you. Okay. Everything will be all right. It will be on your Canvas account. So it's your responsibility that you check it quite often. Maybe once every day, twice every day, whatever. You know, anything, I'll post there. All the announcements will be there. Maybe you already received like 2 announcements from me. So one of them about Slack. So I have a created Slack account. Did you receive the invitation? All right. So for the Slack account is a way for communication. So what I would like you in this class that you communicate together, right? So you're having a homework, you're having a difficulty, I have no problem. It's not a cheating, okay, that you guys cooperate over Slack. So I have a problem, for example, I have this kind of error, I need some help. You post a question, somebody answers you, you need some help. All right, so as you know now in programming that, there is a lot of code over the internet, right? Sometimes you need to borrow some of it. I have no problem with that, as long as you understand what you are doing. As long as you're not, complete cut and paste, right? Okay. Now Google, part of our lives. All right. You could, use it at any time. I'm giving you a homework. The first thing maybe you'll do, even if I don't tell you that, you will do it, right? Then the first thing you'll see, who else did it, right? How can I borrow something from that person? How could I learn, right? Is this the best way to learn programming? No. Okay, it's not. The best thing to learn programming is to have a problem, try to do it from A to Z. That's how you learn it, right? But we all get lazy, all need some help, we all, sometimes we are out of time, we need to do it different way. Even if I tell you don't do it, can I prevent you from doing it? No, all right? No, so I will not even try, right? So you could work together, you could ask yourself the questions over Slack. If I need to post a code for you there in the class, I would like you to try it sometime in the middle of the class. So I put it there, you could use it there in the Slack. So make sure you're part of the Slack. And you could stay there forever. Maybe after you graduate, you'll be, a Python programmer and you need to see what others do. Or you would like to pay back. You're an expert in Python and students taking the class, you'd like to answer questions to them. Again, I plan to keep that account forever. So this is the first time I created, so we have like 34 students. Next semester maybe we'll have another 20, 30, 40, 60, I don't know. Right, we'll add them there so it'll become a big community. This is Python from UB, right? So let's try to do that. So again, I need this course or this class to be very interactive. Anybody took courses with me before? No one? All lucky. Okay. All right. I like it to be interactive. So usually I ask a question. I point. Okay. I point. If you are kind of person that you get bothered when you're asked a question, please don't. Okay. Because sometimes they ask questions and I don't expect that you know the answer, but I need you to wake you up. If I see a person in the back like sleeping or about to sleep and all of that, I think my job to help you to wake up, okay? Ask you a question, ask you to run around the class, okay? Anything that could, bring you to the class. Class is like at 6 o'clock. I think some of you will be tired by 6 o'clock, especially if you are early bird. But that's fine, okay? The good news also, good and bad news. The good news that we're recording the class, so it might need like a couple of days to upload the videos. We have few students are DL students. They are DL, complete DL. I mean, the whole program for them DL. So I need to take care of them. Also, the videos will be available for all of you. You could watch them. However, attendance, I have to take attendance in here. I know attendance is kind of mandatory in UB, where we are required, we are asked to take attendance, so I'll do that, and I have to report it, right? Just to let you know who is attending and who is not attending. All right, what else? I mean, we're gonna spend like half an hour talking about logistics, what is course about, and then after that we delve at, right? You'll have a homeworks. So can you take a look at your syllabus? Okay. You'll have a homeworks. So homeworks are time consuming. So you have to expect that you have to spend in this course every week between 5 to 10 hours. 5 to 10 hours at work. Okay. Inclusive with the course hours. So let's say, I mean, you need to spend about 10 hours a week, in this course, including the class you attend, right? And that's the minimum, actually. All right. So if you are a person came from a different background, so some of you are from mechanical engineering here, no, electrical engineering, 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, 5. Somebody from music major, no, no, history, no, all right. I had a student from music major taking my class, by the way. And, people looking for good jobs, all right? They're changing careers, and I had students from completely different backgrounds taking my classes. You're not from music, right? You look artistic, no? No? Okay. All right. All right. So this class, when I started this class, I think 2 years ago, the name of the class was Python programming. So we tried to introduce the Python programming to students, and it was meant for juniors, seniors, and graduate students, right? So last year I have changed the name of the course. Python is like used for so many things. But mostly nowadays is used for what? For data science, right? You own it. All right. All right. So, for data science, right? So I changed the course is like Python for data science. Before, for example, I used to cover like Windows programming. I used to cover like web programming, and okay. In this course, I'm not going to cover like web programming, how to design web page using Python, with some of the frameworks like Django, for example. I have materials for it in your Canvas. You could try it yourself, okay? I'm focusing, focusing in the data science. So once we finish the basics, we're gonna move on directly to data science. We're gonna cover like pandas. Panda, by the way, is a whole language. And if you're going to buy a book for pandas like that, or check the manuals like that, okay? A lot of things you could do with pandas, right? And NumPy, different. So we're going to cover pandas, we're going to cover NumPy, SciPy, Seaborn, Matplotlib, and a few others. How much we're going to go and delve deep, I don't know. All right. So one thought comes to me that I should assume that students, you know Python or know the basics of programming. So why should I cover like if statement and for loop and object-oriented programming and all of that? But unfortunately, not everybody knows this stuff. Everybody knows the basic language of Python. Everybody? So you know the for statement, the if statement, all of that? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes? Of Python. You used Python before?
Oh, no.
No. Okay. Anybody else volunteer the answer? So you know all the basics of Python?
No.
No, you don't. All right. So that was my fear. That was my fear. If I start writing data science in pandas, NumPy, and you don't know the basic language, you could learn it by your own self, but you know. So what I decided in this course to start from the very beginning, as if you don't know anything about Python. All right. So it's basically like airplane. You know how airplane flies? Okay. It goes on the ground, and then goes like that, and then like that, and then you don't see it. All right? So you have a chance for the first, let's say, 2, 3, 4 weeks to fly with me, okay, slowly. But believe me, if you don't use your time wisely in the first 2, 3, 4 weeks and study very hard and write programs by yourself, okay, you will be gliding down somewhere. Okay, you will not be able to catch up. All right. So seriously, that's the course. The course starts like that from the very beginning. Yes, we start from the hello, print hello statement. Okay, and then after that we'll go up deep, object-oriented programming, and then we'll go, very deep. So, so you have to take each assignment from just an advice. I cannot. Can I force you to do it? Do I have the power to force you to do it? I don't. Okay, neither your parents nowadays, right? Okay, so my son is going to college this year, first time. I feel I lost him. He has a car, and I don't have to tell him where to go, where to come, right? He has a car and key, all right? And he has like a couple of $1,000. He collected gifts from his graduation party a month ago, so he does not need me for a while, right? I cannot control him. He will come back when he has money, right? So, yeah, that's how his life, right? Same thing with you. I'm here, your friend. I'm your mentor. I hope you take me as mentor. Your professor, your teacher, your whatever you call me. It's fine with me. I only can give you a few advices. All right, how to be a good programmer, what you should do. All right, I cannot force you to do it. Okay. However, I will give you a letter at the end of the semester. All right. So I'll give you your own letter, whether it's A or C or F or X or whatever. That's the only right the Constitution of this university has given to me, to give you a letter, and it has to be a fair. All right, to be fair, and you will be happy with whatever letter you get because that's what you earned. Okay. So I'll give you a few advices how to do, what you should do, how much effort you have to put is up to you. No instructor can force you. Moving on, okay. Let's talk a little bit about Python. All right. Okay. So why do you think Python? Anybody programmed in different programming languages before? I'm sure. So hands down. Okay. C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A lot. Hands down. C++. All right. So people who did not C++, they should have done Java. Okay. So most of you they have the basics and the concepts of programming, right? All right. So you know what is variables, how you create variables, all the statements, if a statement, if else, for loop, while, all of these statements, right? And object-oriented programming. So let me ask a question. Hands down, who does not know anything about object-oriented programming? Nothing. Okay, 1, 2, okay, 2. All right, so we'll cover some part of it, right? I like to bring everybody the same level. I mean, that's what the goal. Okay, so you'll, I did not finish my sentence. So the assignment is like 10%, but you're gonna have a lot of work. One of the problems, I have a problem when I start talk, I don't stop. And usually it's like I go everywhere in my talk except what I wanted to talk about, okay? Which is normal, right? So I started mentioning about the assignment 10%, but you're having a lot of work, right? To do, a lot of hours you're gonna spend on assignment. Somebody will ask, okay, 10%, all this effort, yes, 10%. Because if you are able to do the assignments by yourself and you use your efforts, okay, not copy and paste, not use friends and all of that, okay? Okay, when you come to the exams, which is 60%, what you will do? You'll ace it, all right? So I'm telling you right now, and you could ask previous students as much as you want, my exams are very, very, very tough. Very, very tough. All right, my exams are very, very tough. All right? So basically the score that you'll get in your exam will tell you what is the probability for you to get a job. So if you get 30 out of 100, so you have 30% you'll get a job in Python programming. If you get 100 out of 100, you have already a job. All right? Okay, very, very tough. However, students do the homework, do the reading, they try all the programs by themselves, try to play with them, they will do fine, just fine. So they are very difficult, but they are not impossible. They are not impossible, okay? So that's regarding the exam. So the homework, yes, you know, you have 10% work, so you would like to copy from somewhere, you don't want to do the homework. I cannot judge it, I cannot even find out, if okay? But anyways, I mean, the maximum can get 10%. You will stuck at the exams. Okay? I'll catch you there. Okay? I'll catch you there. And there is a project that you're going to work in groups of twos, I think I mentioned twos? Three. All right. So you need to sign up. If you go, I'll show it to you in a second in Canvas. So I created like groups. All right. So 3. Let's say those 3 students decide. So you pick a group, empty group. Let's say group 4. And you add your name there, all right? And this needs to be done soon, all right? So you get to talk to each other, know each other, and you do that. Well, congratulations, the university forced you to have a book, right? All right, so this is the first year that you have a book. So that's the book I put for you in the system. Did you get it?
No. They haven't
They haven't got the book
Don't
they're
have it
providing.
yet? Okay. So the first part of the class, the PowerPoints are from here, from this book, so you could try it out. And, you know, do you need a book for Python programming?
No.
No. So much. I mean, if you go to Google, okay, the Python is so much served that if you Google anything, you'll find an answer. Okay? So really, when you program, you have to have 2 windows, if you can. Okay, you have Google, and you have your programming, right? Programming IDE. We'll talk about it in a second. All right, it's so much served, and there's so many full courses there, whether written or spoken. Okay, for you that you could follow. Just you have to. I'll recommend a few for you, but you know it's your own choice. You could choose whatever you want. It doesn't matter. If you have a book, you don't have a book. You watch a video, you read the text, it doesn't matter. It will never make you a good programmer. Only one thing can make me, make anyone a good programmer, which is coding programming. All right? Even, I mean, you could read like 200 codes, you understand them very well, but when I ask you to write a program, you'll not be able to do it because you did not code. All right? So make sure that you write all the codes, even or already given to you. You'll see a lot of codes given to you in the presentations. Don't get lazy. Okay, try them out. All right, so somebody will say, how I try them out? I could cut and paste. That's not what I meant. You have to write the code from the scratch. So look at it, get the problem, look at it, put it somewhere else. Okay, don't look at the code. Start writing the code. You'll have so much errors. Don't get panic. Don't panic. I mean, error is an error. Just read it, understand and fix it. Until you where is the line has a problem. Go up and fix it. Still another error. Read it, go back and fix it, and keep until you have the problem. Okay? Write it by yourself. Then compare. Okay, if you start, go to the written code and see how it is done. But you have to do mistakes. We don't in life, we don't have to make mistakes to learn, right? We don't have to. But if we make mistakes, we learn. Except in one thing, in programming. Okay? Sometimes you must do mistakes to learn. It's not sometimes, all the time. If you really need to know how to use certain library, or certain function, or certain method, or certain call for a method, or constructor, or whatever, or class, or whatever, you have to do mistakes before you learn it. Okay? To do mistake, you have to do it. Okay? So, okay. The problem with programming languages, in general, they are easy to learn. They are easy to learn. That's a claim. However, they are very time-consuming. Very time-consuming. You need to be patient. You need to spend a lot of time to do it. You have to do it in a good time. Okay? It's good to work in groups. If you have one friend in the class, anyways, we are forming like groups now. You could work for. So for the homework, it's individual work. But if you, as a group, work together, you submit it like 3 times, each one submitted, that's fine. I mean, there's no problem. But please, okay, if you rely on your friend now, that will not help you to get a job. He will not help you to get a job, all right? And if you get an interview, he will not go with you to the interview. And if you were given the job, okay, he will not be there to help you to do your job. Then you get fired after 2 weeks. God forbid, right? So you have to learn. You have to be very good. Okay. So let's talk about programming in general. Okay, what is programming? So basic, right? What's programming? Any volunteer?
Using a coding language to achieve a desired result.
Exactly. Okay. So basically, we have a computer. Now, this is a computer. This is computer. This is a human. Okay. The computer has a brain, right? Brain. Right? Has memory. Has heart. And here you're going to have CPU. You're going to have a memory. Right? Okay. What else are you going to have? Hard disk drive to save permanent data. Right? Okay. So CPU is the brain of the computer. Is the brain of the, it's reverse. That's a human here, the computer there, that's fine. So the CPU is the brain of the computer. All right. So basically, this computer is going to do a lot of jobs. You have to write a code for it. Okay. When you write the code, you write it with high-level language. So Python considered what? A high-level language, right? HLL, high-level language. You're understanding what is there, right? But the computer itself, the hardware, well, it has to be converted to the machine language. The machine language. Machine language includes zeros and ones, right? All right. So you don't have to know the machine language. You don't have to learn about the middle language in here, assembly language. Okay, assembly language. All right. You're gonna deal with the high-level language. Examples for high-level languages. Okay, like Java, for example. Okay, Java, C++, Python, and the list is long, right? All right. So Python is like interpreter and the compiler. Interpreter and the compiler. What is the difference between interpreter and the compiler? Anybody? Any volunteer? Okay. So compiler, or let's talk about interpreter when you have a code. Okay, let's say this is the script. Okay, let's say scripts.python, okay? It has lines, codes, right? Right? So the interpreter will go and execute line by line. It goes for the first line and execute it for you. Then it goes to the second line and execute it for you until the end, right? So that's called interpreter, all right? In the compiler, it does not work like this way. In the compiler, it has to compile the whole file. The whole file has to be perfect. The whole file has to be in a good language, and it will give you, okay, it will give you a file, executable file that you could execute, right? So Java is a compiled language, or let's say C++ is a compiled language, right? Java is a compiled language. Python is both, okay, both. So you'll see that you will be able to execute commands without compiling them, okay? And you'll be able to compile them. All right, so regardless of the language in hand, Python, what you have to be able to write a good code, to be a good programmer? Do we start with Python? Or we start somewhere else?
Algorithm?
Algorithms, right? You said yeah, algorithms. Okay, one of the things. So you have to have a foundation. To be a good programmer, you have to have a strong foundation. All right. So Python is a language. The language, what is language? Tokens, certain words. Put them together, they do the job. All right? So it's just a language. All right? So for example, in English, if I tell you I, you, he, she, go, play, okay? I mean, we could give you like 2,000 words, you could learn them. But if you don't know how to put them together, okay, you cannot use it. You use the language, right? So the basic language is easy to learn. It's easy to learn, to understand what does it do, how it works. It's easy. It's not complicated at all. The complication comes in your logic. When you are given this tool, and you are required to write your logic. How you write your logic? By Python, by that language. All right? By that language. So you have to have a logic. You have to have a logic. You have to have computer logic. You have to have algorithms logic. There's of course algorithms. You have to understand, how things go sequentially in the CPU and in the memory. You have to have a deep understanding. So for this course, of course, I mean, you already have that. You should know little bit about the computing theory. You have to know about algorithms. You have to know about digital design. You have to know about microprocessors, right? Okay, and I'm sure all of you took all of these courses. Then you jump in Python, writing a code for a certain application, right? All right? So you have to have this logic, this sense. You have to have this logic, this sense. Plus, there is like concepts that I'm not going to cover in here. Like, what is memory? What is CPU? How is data saved in the memory? What does it mean like integer? What does it mean float? All of these concepts you already have covered, and if you don't know them, you're in the wrong place, to be honest with you. Okay, you have to know them before you come to this class. All right? All right, so to be able to write the code, you have to have a compiler. You have to have a compiler or an interpreter. And this very easily you could download a few. I recommend a few for you in a second. All right. So where am I? Okay. Oh, I have to start this somehow. Projector on. To be honest, I'm not a fan of screen. I'm not a big fan of this room because when you put the projector down, you cannot write. There is no whiteboard. So I'm not sure if we can move somewhere else. So projector on, it says. Laptop. All right, before I go to this, let me go to Canvas. I think I opened Canvas. Okay, so as you see in here in Canvas, okay, let me go to the courses. Okay, all right. All right, so if you go to the people in here, if you did not visit it yet, I'm not sure why a student did not visit my course yet.
Screen is not showing.
All right.
Screen is not showing.
What? Oh. All right, so if you go in the people in here, you see in here, like, you see the DL students. Okay, so I asked DL student, any of you are DL students? Did you add yourself here?
I think so.
Okay, is your name here?
Yes.
Okay, so you're there, okay. Then we're gonna go to the teams, okay. For the team, as you see in here, for example, team 1, there is 2 people, okay, signed up. We need 1 more person with them. So this has 0 out of 3, this is 0 out of 3. So you need for this 3 out of 3. So team 9 has 3 people already. So that's what you need to. You need to team up. Okay? So you decide in 1 room and you add yourself to that room. Alright? And please do that before the next class. Okay? So everybody needs to team up. It's very easy. Just once you find the team, you drag it. Is there any 3 people who would like to form a team already here? That I could show you how to do it? Alright, you could practice that later, okay? So you need to be part of the team. If within a week, by next class, you don't have a team, I will combine you, okay? Usually most of the professors like create the teams by themselves, okay? So, but myself, I like to give you a chance to team up with the person you know, but if you don't, you'll know, you know them, right? Once you partner with them for 4 months during the semester, you know them. So if you don't have anybody, don't worry, I'll team you up with somebody. But once that happens, there's no change. So you're given 1 week to choose that, right? All right. Any questions? Are we still friends? Okay. Hopefully. All right. All right. Oh, before I go here also. All right, so where do you have to go? I mean, you have to go to the modules. Okay, that's where you visit, modules in here. So I add things into modules. Okay, so module 1, that's what we'll cover today. There is a video from previous lecture, like last semester, semester before, I don't know. Okay, so you could watch it, you don't have to. Okay, it's too much to watch me twice in a week. Come and watch it, okay, but in case you miss the lecture, you'll be able to. Where's the sign-in sheet? Sign-in sheet, please bring it back. Everybody signed?
No.
Everybody signed? Okay. All right. So module 2, module 3, and all of that. So I kept, for example, to network programming, for example, module 8. Whether I'm going to cover it this semester or skip it, I don't know, we'll decide. But I put everything in modules, right? So we gonna, okay, web clients and server, CGI. It's an interesting topic. If I don't cover it, okay, then you are not responsible for the homework of that module. You're not responsible for it in the exam, but it's there for you, right? I don't think, for example, I'm gonna cover in this class Django. I did cover it in previous class, but I will add different. So I started covering pandas, maybe different stuff. Okay, so my courses are different from time to time, keep changing. Otherwise, myself will get bored. All right, and I also need to learn. Right, so my theory or my philosophy in all my courses, I didn't know much more than what you know, okay? I know a little bit more because I prepared, all right? But you could, at the end of the semester, know much more than me. You could help me in the class. You excel in certain topic more than I do, because you did the project before, or because you're interested in the topic, or you spent more time, right? So this is like a graduate level course, it's not an introductory course. So most of you have a good background already, and some of you maybe already use Python. I noticed some of the students take Python for two reasons, because they know it already, so it's easier for them to get a grade, and they need also to know more, or have more chance to know more, because they can apply for jobs after that. Some of the students are very good, which is good. Some of the students are very beginning. Some of the students are from different backgrounds. Some of the students are seniors and juniors, so they don't know much. So we'll try to bring everybody to the same level eventually, right? So modules is where you go. Of course, you'll have different display than mine, because this is instructor display, but you know where you could go, and you'll see all the people. So these are the two things that you have to do immediately. You have to be a part of a group, all right? And number two, you have to check, for example, the assignment is here for the first group. Okay, this will be due before the class. So your assignment is due every Monday. The assignment is due every Monday. So today we cover a material. By Monday you have to submit it. Then Tuesday you come for a class. By Monday you submit the second assignment, and so on and so forth. So we have assignment every week. We'll have assignment every week. And there's some assignments listed, but don't print them right now, because I'm changing the assignments. I'm adding stuff, removing stuff. So you're responsible for the current assignment. You could go and work with it, because it would be very useful, but it might be different submission. Again, you submit all your assignments to Canvas. You don't give me a paper, all right? Okay, so you're gonna submit the code, all you have to do is just to create like a zip file that includes your codes, the files, .py, okay, and the Word file that shows the execution if you can. All right, so it should be very simple. Let me go here quickly, and before we get to the break, all right. So, very quick, we'll just quickly talk about the Python. It's invented in the early 90s, as you see in here, and how can you see it? Yes, sir.
I was just going to say, the assignment one that's posted in there currently, that assignment is the exact assignment we'll be handing in this Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you have 1 week to finish the assignment.
Okay.
All right. Is it better like this, or?
Yes.
Okay. Myself, I could see from the window, so but yourself you have to. All right. All right. So it was invented in early 90s, very quickly. And it's fully supportive, or supports object-oriented programming. If you don't know what's object-oriented programming, you should actually. You should know object-oriented programming, but if you don't know what's object-oriented and structured programming, you know eventually. So basically, we're talking about the classes. If you heard about the classes, you're creating classes. All right. Before I move on, also in my courses, also because it's just part of the logistics, I don't like. Please don't use your cell phones. Turn your cell phones off. All right. If you receive a call, you could go outside to receive it. But I prefer to be off or in vibrate or silent or whatever. Okay. And sometimes I will ask you to run some code. So if you can bring your laptops with you in the class. All right, and sometimes when I need you to pay attention, I'll tell you 45. You know what 45 means? Okay, 45 means 45 degree. Okay, you keep your laptop very far for 45. Okay, why 45? Why not 0? Because 0 will shut down. 90 you'll be able to, you'll not be focused. 45, you have to do, you have to watch it in different way. Okay. All right, so I think this is all the logistics. Homework. Did we have anything for logistics? We're gonna have 2 exams, midterm and final. All right, and the final in my courses include everything. It's ridiculous to give a final that includes only the final part. Programming is like a language, a whole language, right? And you're gonna have a project, And this project this time it will be in data science. And last time it was creating like Canvas. You see the Canvas in here? That was the assignment last time for the students to create their own UB Canvas. All right, so we are not going to do that. We'll try to move from that to give you like you know, data set that you could create a nice project with it. All right, so it will be a little bit different. What else? Yeah, so there is reference books, but again, you don't have to get any of the books. I mean, this is rented for you already. You could have it. It's a nice book, but you could have different things. Okay. All right. So there is different implementation for Python. You know, Python started like a hobby. Few people, you know, it's not like, you know, then become like adopted by Google, and that's what gives it the strength. It's like adopted by Google big time. So there's different implementations. So you could. Right. So there is C Python. I hear this one happens, so I have to select this first. Okay. So you could have C Python, which is the default, most widely used one, which is written in C. Okay, and that's where the C Python came. It's written in C, so it's C Python. Also, there is other flavors like PyPy, its interpreter, and then we have the JPython, which is Python code into Java, bytecode, and there is IronPython. So details that right now you don't need to know about them, but you know it's good to know that there is different implementation of Python. Okay, we are just going to use the standard one that is coming from Python.org, right? So 4 general programming languages that we all know about that most of you have used, like C++, Java, C#, Python. By the way, I mean the language itself, the syntax of the first 3 languages in here, almost the same. Almost the same. They change a little bit, but almost the same. So if you know C++, it's very easy to learn Java, right? If you know C++, it's easy to learn C# or C#, they call it, right? Python is kind of different language, different style, different language. Okay, so a different thing is usually is at the beginning difficult, right? It's not fun to have different, right? So it's like exactly like all your life you have a Toyota Corolla, and somebody over giving you Ferrari, okay? How that feels?
Terrible.
Horrible, right? Although Ferrari better than Corolla, right? Right? But that's what it is, okay? That's what it is. It's a different language. It's easier syntax. It will take you time to get used to it. Myself, when I started programming in Python, at the beginning, I did not fall in love with it, all right? Over the time, I loved it, okay? The reason, because you got used to certain language, certain syntax, right? Now you're completely shifting. You'll see that, right? So but in many ways, it's much more easier. So the idea of Python is to make the syntax easy for those people who would like to program, but they are far from the discipline. They are not from computer science. They could be electrical engineers. They could be mechanical engineers. They could be history majors and would like to write simple codes. Python is for them. Okay, Python is for them. So in a sense, you have to be happy that you're learning a language that's becoming popular day after day, and is not as intense and as difficult like Java. Java is really complex. Even C# much more easier than Java. And picking up. Okay, why a language succeeds? Why a language picks up? Why a language becomes like tornado in the market? When a big company stands behind it. Who stands behind Python nowadays? Google, right? So you have to expect that it will fly more and more, a lot of jobs, a lot of things, okay? All right, that's one reason. When you have a big company behind a language, yes, but there's a lot of good languages, like, for example, Pascal. Anybody programmed in Pascal before? No. Oh, you did?
6, 7
You're
years.
my generation, my friend.
No, well,
How you like Pascal?
kind of hard.
It was a great language. I love Pascal, but nobody uses Pascal nowadays, right? All right, so it's a Fortran. Anybody program with Fortran? I hate it. I hated Fortran. So it's a part of okay, but Fortran, it was the F language. Then after that they gave it the C. So they say Fortran is the previous to C. Okay, then okay. So it's like okay, doesn't matter. In this class, you must love Python. You must love Python. If you don't love it, you're in trouble. I'm telling you, you must love it. And all of you should get A in this class. How you get A?
Love
By love Python. By loving Python and working hard. All right? All right? So, okay. But, that's what it is. Love is not just a word. Okay? Myself, it's not enough for me to tell my wife I love you. Does not work. It has to come with a big box with work, or I have to work hard, right? I have to, and then it comes with a gift, it looks nicer, right? Same thing, you don't say I love Python without working, right? It doesn't get you anywhere, all right? So you have to love it, you have to like it, you have to enjoy it, and watch a few videos, go, see what you can do with it. Usually you have to be convinced you are getting into something big, something will be useful, that will make you big, will make you important, will make you useful when you apply for jobs. So go watch some videos on YouTube. How many YouTube videos you can find about Python? A few millions. Okay, a few millions. So try the one number 8,000,005. Try it. Okay. So try it. Try to love it. Right. To enjoy it. All right. Anyways, in life in general, whatever we do, we have to like. We have to try hard to like. If you don't like, that's a problem, right? So that's the map for Python timeline is 2000 releases, and there is 2 major releases. They are not backward or forward compatible. The 2 and the 3. So which Python we are using in this class? Python 3. We are not using Python 2. Okay, not 2.1, not 2.2, not 2.7. We are not going to cover Python 2. However, in some codes, that if you'd like to borrow some codes written in Python 2, there's many applications written in Python 2 to understand it is not a big difference. But they are not backward compatible. They are not backward compatible. In C and C Sharp, for example, or C++ and C, usually in C++, how you print? C out, right? Or C in. But if you use a printf and does it work? It's backward compatible. You understand? Just you have to import the library, and that's what will happen. So Python 3 and Python 2, they are not compatible. Not forward compatible, not backward compatible. All right? So the Java code, as you see in here, the Java code in here. Does this right? I'm not sure. Anyways, okay. So all of you program maybe in Java and C++. All right. So for example, in here, what do you have in here in Java code? What do you have? What is this?
Method.
It's a method or a function, right? So the way it's written, it has to declare it as a private. It's right in here as a private. You have to declare it as a private, static, whatever. You're gonna learn about all of these. Then you give it a name. That's the name, which is calculate future value. This is the name of the function, and then you have to declare variables, and you have to tell the type of the variable. So in Java, you say double. It's a double. It's integer. It's a float. You have to declare it, right? In Python, you don't have to do that. All right. And what you notice also, it's like blocks. The blocks, you have the curly braces, okay, or parentheses that we could use, and there's a return value. When you look in here, for example, this is like a Python code. So to define a function, you start with the word def, you give it a name, the inputs in here, colon, and then future value. What is a future value? is a variable, but I use it right away. I don't declare it as integer or as a float or as a double. Who does that for you? Who figures it out? The compiler. The compiler will figure it out, all right? In Java, in here, you don't have to have indentation. You don't have to follow indentation. In Python, you must follow indentation. You don't follow indentation, okay, you'll be in trouble. You'll be in trouble, okay? Okay, if I lost you, just keep up. We will start running codes very, very soon, so just keep up with me. So Python has a simplex syntax, okay, simpler. It's used in many disciplines. It's used in the games, in the web applications, in the system administration, in security, in Google, IBM, Disney, many. It's an open source. The other thing is an open source, although many other programming now became like open source. You could have the output to a console. So the output usually in Xcode could be a console like this. This is a console, or it could be a GUI. It could be a GUI. And for that, there's many libraries, different that we use. There's a standard one. There's multiple other ones. I'm not sure which one we're gonna cover in this class. In the previous classes, I covered like 2 different ones. All right, but because I don't want to really focus in the GUI, maybe I'll take the standard one this time. Okay, just to know how to write a GUI. You know what's GUI? Graphical User Interface. Graphical User Interface Application. And the third output for your code is gonna go to the web application, right? So when you write a code, okay, when you write a code, you're gonna have interface. Either it's console, which you usually don't do it for mass application. You do it for administration, you do it for development, for different things. Or you have a GUI, like, you have like, application, like Microsoft, it's like a GUI, right? All of the Paint Brush is a GUI, right? Or it could be web application, okay, which is kind of enterprise application. So the word now, where is it moving toward? Enterprise application, all right? That means it will be what? Web application, right? So most of the application you use nowadays, even like a standard applications for many years, they used to be GUI interfaces, not anymore. One example, Office 365. Okay, I think Office 365, is it application or web maybe? Web. Like now, no, Google Docs, right? So now all the applications becoming like enterprise applications, all right? In the future, I mean, if you go 20 years ago when me and him were born, okay, I mean, when you need to have an application, they have to send it to you on a CD, not DVD even, right? You have to install it, right, in the machine. Nowadays, all the applications are just web interface. Accounting, okay? If you do your taxes at the end of the year before they send you a CD, what they call it TurboTax, you install it as application. Give you application, you put your data, you run. Nowadays, they don't do that. It's just a login. So that's the whole world is moving towards what? Enterprise applications. It has to be, okay? It has a. So when we talk about enterprise, what does enterprise mean? Okay. Usually it is like you have 3 levels of code. 3 levels of code. You have 3 levels of, okay. So you have your own, data. So for example, so you have your program, okay, which is like Python, for example, Python, where you write your logic, your code, right? So what are you dealing with in your program? With data, all right? So you have to grab the data. So the data has to go to your Python program. It could be from input, output, I/O, keyboard, mouse, microphone, or it could come from where? From? What?
Internet web page.
From database. Okay, database. All right. Okay, database. And it has to be displayed. Where is it displayed to? When you do a processing for something, it could be displayed to what? Again, output, like a screen, for example, or it could back where? To the database is stored, right? All right. Or it could be. I mean, when you talk about output, where? what kind of output we could have? We have console, or GUI, or web, right? Okay. So basically, for any enterprise application, you have to have the three levels nowadays, right? You're gonna have a database as a background that has all the data, whether it's like SQL or no SQL, okay? Relational database or, a big data for data, all right? This data will be fetched, brought to the program, do processing, and the results will be stored back to the database or displayed usually, So if, for example, if you'd like to know, for example, you're gonna go to Amazon. What Amazon? Amazon.com. You will purchase stuff. So you start from where? You start from the web interface. There is like boxes where you enter the data, okay? You click, the data will go where? To the Python program. The Python program, what does it do? The process. I'm looking to buy HP, whatever number, laptop, size, whatever that, okay. It go to the Python. The Python will request the information from where? From the database, okay? Once the data is located in the database, will be brought back to where? To the Python. The Python will display to the customer what? What is available. The customer will do what? He has interface. He has to pick one of them. Okay, he picks one of them. Then what he picked will go where? To the Python. Okay, the Python now will process the cost and all of that. Okay, and then has to do payment, for example. So if it's like a user, current user, who is like been there before, his credit card and shipping and all of that where available in the database. Go to the database, get the database. All right, get it to where? To the Python. What Python does with it? Display it to the user. Is this a good credit card? Is this a good? Do you want to change anything? Okay, then the user has to give his response. Response goes to where? To the Python code. Okay, the Python, what does it do? Execute the code. What does it do? Connect to the another server, okay, guest server, where he can do the charge. Okay, so the system in here, which is like the guest system, where it has a credit, what does it have? It has 3 levels. It has a database, it has a program, and it has maybe web interface. They will do all the process, we'll go through the process. Then when the transaction is complete and successful, we'll send a message to where? To the Python program. The Python program will confirm in the database and send a message, that nice page that you get the damage $200, whatever, and all of that. And okay, is it over yet? It's not. So now the Python will go do some work. Now what? They have to, okay, send the order to where? To the warehouse. The warehouse to contact what? The shipping whatever company. The shipping company again is like a huge, it has database, it has a program, it has maybe interface, right? So somebody has to do that. It could be automatic, or it could be like interface. The shipping company, what they do? They have a process, there is a request, okay? Well, request coming from which account? From this account, okay? Then where is the address? Get the address to them. Do the process, issue the ticket, and do the shipment. Now the shipment is done, right? You have to report back to where? To the Amazon.com. Amazon now received, put the data where? In the database. Okay, in the database, what does Amazon do also? Send an email to who? To the customer. Or it could come from here. But usually it comes from Amazon that your part is shipped. Is it over yet? No, it will be shipped, delivered. The person, okay, delivered, right? Shipped, okay. And once it's delivered, the person at your house put it in front of your house, at your door. He adds some data, then it goes to Amazon. Then Amazon system will send you an email to you what? Open the door, something in front of your door, right? So what we call this? Enterprise. Enterprise, okay? So it's not anymore like simple word. Okay, it's an enterprise, okay? So core part of all of this is Python. Because Python, you could write the logic in here, and in Python what you could do. Also it comes with the frameworks like Django, for example, for the web interface. Okay, for web interface. Django is not easy. I mean, I try to cover it in one, in one lecture, here to lecture. The students have difficult, it's not easy. It's a whole enterprise. You have to do a lot of things, right? So that's the whole world. That's where we moving. That's where we moving toward enterprise. So for that you have to, and anyone, if you're looking for a job, all right, as a programmer, you have to have a solid background about databases. Okay, nowadays there's two types of databases. What are they? Relation databases
Big data.
and big data. Okay, NoSQL and SQL, right? All right. So you have to start somewhere. You have to have a good. Okay, you have to know one of the tools there. You could know MySQL, you could know Oracle, you could know, but you have to have, and then programming. Programming. There are so many. Doesn't make it doesn't make a difference whether you're using big difference. Yeah, of course, there are little differences, but if you use Python or Java or all of it, it's okay. Then after that, for designing, you have to know HTML, CSS, you have to know different things in that level, right? So, okay, when you go to work to any company, do you think that you'll be working all the three levels? Most likely not, unless at least like a small company, and they have to hire one person. Yes, but usually is yourself. You have to find yourself, experts in one area. Okay. That's what I tell students doing their masters in here. I mean, if anybody's doing masters, that you're gonna have 10 courses. Make sure that don't follow the principle like one flower from each garden. I don't think it's a good thing to do. One flower from each garden is not a great thing nowadays, because when you go for any job interview, they will ask you about one bouquet. Okay, they will not ask you about, you have to know everything. So when you apply nowadays for a job, you don't apply for a job. Have you seen a job? We need a computer scientist. Is there a job such as a job like this nowadays? We don't. We need a Python programmer. We need a software engineer, but in the details, he should know Python, know Java, know whatever, right? That's how it's life, right? So it's a very good thing to plan your career, plan your future. You're gonna stay here for a year, 2 years to do your master's, all right? Okay, try to excel in one thing or two things, but don't try to anyways, you got the whole point. So anyways, so you understand now when you tell you like web application, GUI, whatever using. Okay, okay. So you have a source code. We're gonna take a look at source codes. Of course, you have to import, for example, libraries. The libraries, like include in C++, like import in Java. Okay, libraries already available for you. In Python, in Java, for example, usually when you download the IDE, all the packages are there, as far as I know, or most of them. In Python, you have to install them. You have to install them, okay? And the way you install them, you do pip. So pip install, pip, I will show you in a second, pip install. Say pip install, and the name of the package, whatever the name of the package, right? So for example, if you want to use pandas, pandas does not come with the core Python. What you have to do, pip install pandas. Okay, it will install it for you, simple. You have to have connection to the internet, and that's what you do it, okay? All right, the main source for you to download, you need a break or you're okay? Yes, no?
Break would do.
Break is good? Okay, let's have a break for 10 minutes. Thank you. The first thing that you need to do is to have the compiler, right? So you could get it from, there is so many IDEs that you could use. The standard one, it comes from, when you go python.org, and you could download it from there, okay, which is the, we go to, so you could go python.org, I think, if I remember correctly. All right, and you could, of course, this is that's where you find all the information related to Python, and you could download it from here, download, okay? And now the latest, of course, we're gonna deal with Python 3, and the latest version is 3.7.4, all right? So 3.7 is the main version, okay? 4, 3, 2 does not make a difference. You can download the 32-bit or the 64-bit. Better to download 64-bit if your laptop supports that. Alright, so you could download it and install it. Once you install it, okay, you'll have this application with you in here, right? Okay, it's called Kindle, I think. So when you go to Python, so I have like both installed Python 3.7 and 3.6. Okay, so there is the idle you download and you run. So basically you have it in here. So you could, for example, this is like interpreter, you could write any command, you could practice with it. Okay, so for example print, okay.
We
can't
see.
Professor, we can see.
Oh, I can't see. Why? Because I forgot to do something, right? Okay. So in here, for example, you could go, for example, print, okay? You're gonna print a syntax, for example, hello, okay? Right? You have to print it hello. You could try any command you want in here as long as you import the library, it will be interactive. Alright, so that's very simple to learn Python, to start with that, but usually what you're gonna do, you have to create your own scripts, right? So for example, you could file, new, by the way, if you have a laptop, you could try it with me, okay? File in new, for example, alright? And you could type the code, whatever you want in here, okay? The most important thing when you name it, you have to, for example, save it, okay? And when you save it, you have to give it .py extension. So for example, test1, for example. Anyways, the program will give it ty extension, but I'm sure it .py extension for Python, right? So for example, here if you say print, right? Print hello, this is my first class, whatever, in Python. Alright, so what I will do first, okay, let me run it like this, run. So you go F5, run. Okay, it has to save it, already saved. And you see that's the program, that's the file, and we'll give you another window for the output. You see the output in here? Alright? Let's make an error. Let's just forget to put the quote in here. Okay, let's run it. Okay, save. Okay. Let's remove this and remove that, and let's run it now. So it will give you a syntax error, and will give you an error, right? Okay. So that's one way. It's like comes with it. It's a simple IDE to write your course. Okay. I mean, it's very nice. You could, for example, it's like colors. It gives you colors and all of that. Okay. There's no problem to use it. Many people use it and enjoy it. Okay. I think people who would like to learn, maybe they use this better than anything else. All right. So what I want to say. So for example, in here, for example, if you say x equals 5, okay, y equals 4, and z equals x plus, for example, y, whatever, y, when you run it again, so it will ask you to save first, we save it, and did not complain. I could, for example, in here print, okay, print for me the x and then the y, and then print the Z, right? Let's run it again. Run. Okay, gave me 5, which is the X, 4 is the Y, and 9 is the Z. All right. So it could. I mean, this is very simple, but I'm just trying to show you the compiler. The problem, if you have an error, also let's make an error. Let's make, for example, C. We don't have a variable C. We did not define it. So let's see if it complains. Oh, complain. So my advice for you, usually when you have an error, don't get scared. I mean, the red colors usually, nobody likes to see prints in red. Okay, usually it's a nice language. It's not a cursing language. It will not tell you that you are stupid, that you had no. It will not do that. It will tell you what's the problem. It will help you to fix the problem. I promise, right? So in here, what does it do? Trace back most recent call last file. That give you the file, all right? And it gave you the line 6. Okay, there is a problem. Okay, and it told you what is in the line, and it told you the name error, name C is not defined. So clearly gave you the line, where is the problem, until it told you what the line. So you did not define C. Okay, so you predict C without defining it. Okay, so for example, if I say C in here, for example, equals 60. When I run it, okay, you have to save it first. Did not complain. Okay, so it will tell you what's your error, what's your mistake. Just learn it. So you go line by line and you try. Sometimes if there is an error that you cannot figure out. And by the way, one thing we have to talk about, I mean, this is time to talk about it, is what kind of errors you could have. So for example, the error we had in here, what kind of error is it? It's a compilation error. Okay, syntax error, right? So the errors could be 3 times. The errors could be 3 times. The easiest one we had is like a syntax error. Your syntax is wrong, and the compiler tells you it's wrong. All you have to do is just fix it. Syntax error. Okay, and the syntax of Python is not very complex. It's not. Okay, so the first time is the syntax error and the compilation error. Why you would call it compilation error? Because the error will come up to your phase when you start compiling. Okay, fix it. Okay, what is the second type of errors? Logic errors. Number 2 is the logic errors. Logic. Okay, when you write a code, when you write a program, why are you doing that? Why you do that? For a function. For a function, right? For a function. You're doing that to do a function, right? If you're writing the code and the code does not do the job, where is the problem? In your logic. It's in your logic, right? Okay, in your logic, right? So you have to go and fix the logic. So logic is harder than syntax error, especially if you have like a big program, massive program that tries to bring a data from database and do different kind of analysis and print the output in a certain format, and it's not doing it. What's the problem? Your logic. Right? You have to go and fix it. So in the logic, it does not give you an error, compilation error. It compiles nicely, okay, but the results are bad. Okay, so that is the logic error. Okay, you have to have a logic. All right, you have to have a logic. The third type of error is called runtime error. Runtime error. Okay, so it happens at the runtime, such as division by 0. You're not allowed to divide by 0. Okay, your program, your logic does not divide by 0, but in your program somewhere there that you're gonna divide something by some, and the edit user enters 0 for you. So 5 divided by 0. Disaster. Okay, runtime error, and many other runtime. Another runtime error, for example, you're supposed to read data from the file, but somebody before you run the program deleted the file for you. Look for the file is not there. So is it a logical error? It's not a logical error. It's what? Runtime error. This happens at the runtime, right? Okay, runtime errors. Okay, That's why we have to do testing for the code. I mean, usually like for any applications you have in outside there, I mean, they spend so much time planning for it, so much time developing it, so much time after that doing what? Beta, testing, take a lot of testing. So it's like, you know, a stress test. Maybe we'll talk, if we have time about the testing, we'll talk in this class. Okay, it's not part of the course. So these are kind of errors. So now, as you start the first like few weeks, what kind of errors you'll have all the time? Compilation error. Will it go? It will not go. You know why? Because you don't care about it. It's not your biggest problem. So you start writing code, you don't pay attention for anything. I mean, if you, for example, in 3 or 4 weeks decide, I don't want to write a program, when I run it from the first time, there is no compilation error. Will you be able to do that? You will, if you will, but it's not necessarily. Because you compile it first time, your brain is focused on something much bigger than syntax. Okay? It's focusing on what? The logic. All right? And I think the person who called programming languages programming is smart. It's exactly like how regular language, right? So the language that your little brother or son who is like 5 years old use, how many words do they have? Few words, right? So they could build sentences with it, right? Okay. When you finish your high school or your college, what is the bank of vocabulary you have? Thousands maybe, all right? So you could have like 10,000. Our friend here could have another 10,000 vocabulary. Our friend has 10,000 vocabulary. But when asked you to write an essay, you will score 9 out of 10. You will score 7 out of 10, it doesn't mean anything. You will score, for example, 1 out of 10, okay? And you have 1,000. That's the logic, how you use the language, all right? That topic was about what? About football, okay? Now we decided to make the topic about movies. He'll score 9 out of 10. She will score maybe 9 out of 10. He will score 0 out of 10. He does not like movies, for example, right? The logic, okay? So the logic is okay. That's what matters. What makes you a good program? Logic. Logic comes from knowing algorithms. Design patterns. Have you seen like design patterns in Python? Design patterns in Java? Design patterns in C++? Design patterns. Okay. Then the last one is an easy one. Okay, you have to take care of it, but this is usually discovered, these errors, when you do like fuzzing, like testing, strong testing, stress testing we call it. Okay, you try every single possible input and see how the program runs. Okay, so that's what it is. So that's a very simple IDE that you could use. Okay, there is many. Microsoft, you could use Microsoft, the one used for C++ or C#. They have it for Python. Google recommends Atom, something called Atom. You could try it. The other one is a very common, and it's free for you. It's very expensive, but free for you as long as you sign up with EDU account. Okay, PyCharm. So that's the PyCharm in here. Okay, I really downloaded myself. So all you have to go to do JetBeans. It's from JetBrains, I think. JetBrains. Let me try it. JetBrains. Can you see? Yes. So JetBrains PyCharm. Okay, JetBrains PyCharm. Okay. So you could download it from there. All you have to go, first of all, sign up with an account. Not using the .com or .org, or just you have to use EDU account. Then we'll give you a free account for a year. And by the way, it's one of the most advanced IDEs, fun to use, so I recommend it. If you are so used to Microsoft, what they call it,
VS Code.
huh?
VS Code.
Yes, you could use that. Okay. Atom, you could use Atom. Okay, there's many different. Also, you could use like in web. In web, for example, there is Ripple-It. Okay. Also, you create an account, and the nice thing about Ripple-It, you could share the code. You could like have a code, for example, and you could share it. Just you see, I have an account. This is in here, for example, my account, and you could execute everything online. So this is a code in here. Okay, from previous class I taught this summer, and when you execute it in here, okay, it gives you the execution. All right, and you could also share it with people, you could add members, whatever. So there is so many options to use. My first recommendation for you, what I need you to know, is the standard one, which is the idle, comes with a Python, okay, and the PyCharm. If would like to use something else, you're free to use something else. All right. So once you install PyCharm, everything has to be in a project. So this is PyCharm downloaded. So let me close it. Close, exit, close it. Okay. Let me close this for you. No problem. Okay. Let me minimize this. Okay. I have a link for it. PyCharm down here. And by the way, you don't need IDE at all. Okay, you have to just record in a text file, and the extension has to be py. That's all. So you could, myself, at the beginning, to be honest with you, I'm jumping from one thing to one thing. Let me not keep jumping. Let me finish PyCharm and we'll go that. So in here, for example, the first thing, let me close this. Okay. All right. So file, I could say new project. Okay, it's a Python project. You could have Django project, Flask is for web. So these are different Python frameworks that you could use, but we care about like a Python project. So for example, we could give it a name. Okay, first, for example, Python project. How is that? You agree? Okay. It's created. This window. All right. So creating the project. So you start with the project. I have no idea why time always flies. We have no idea. All right, so we have the project. Inside the project, what we have? Python files. Okay, you could go in here, for example, or here. If this is your project in here, right-click, okay, new what? Python file. Okay, this is Python. Give it a name. Okay, F1, for example. Okay, and it will give it the extension .py. All right. And in here you could write any code you would like. Okay, so very simple. Okay, so for example, we could type print. Let me just copy this code in here, which we already tried together. Copy. Let me minimize this. Let me go ahead and post the code in here. It's in here, right? And then you go in the code in here, F1 pi. Okay, go 1. Just give you the output as expected. So print, it was printed in here. Then another print, it was in here. Okay. If you need to have inputs, so for example, C is not 60. Say input. Okay, and you put like for example, enter a number. Okay, comma for example. Let's run it again. So print to the screen, input to read from a keyboard. So I go again to run it. Here the run, I could press in here run, and it says here enter a number. Enter with E, not anyways. It's wrong. Okay. Okay. So enter a number. For example, 45. Okay, and now 45 was printed in here. Okay. All right. So PyCharm is by far is one. Okay. It also has like a debug, so you could debug the problem. What does it mean debug? like execute the line by line, you could check things, okay? So it's a very advanced one. I truly recommend that you use it for this course. You are free to use anything else, okay? Somebody will say, I've been many years using Microsoft, and I know the compiler very, very well. I think I have it in here somewhere. Anyways, I don't want to try it because I hate it, so that's fine. Okay, so, you could try anything you want. You could try the web, you could try many. You'll come across multiple other things, other IDEs. Feel free to use whatever you like, okay? It doesn't matter, okay? Remember that when you write projects, everybody program, usually like when we start to object-oriented programming, we try to have multiple files in the program, So if you have like multiple classes, you try to keep one class in each file. And then one main file that will call everything. All right? So that's what it is. So in the first PowerPoint presentation, I spoke about the installation, how to install it. Then the development environment, you could take a look at that. The Visual Studio, how to install it, how to configure it. PyCharm, the link for it. I love Notepad. I mean, seriously, Notepad is one of the best. Notepad plus in here. Do I have it? No? I have it installed in the laptop. Wow. Anyway, Notepad plus, you could download it. It's really a very good. You could configure it also for you. And as I told you, so you could download it and you could use it. You could use it for many languages. Download it for myself. You don't have to worry about it. So let's run it. Anyways, all right. As I said, when you go to the command prompt, you don't have to have any ID, CMD, just for completion of the topic in here. So C column. Usually C column. Yes. Oh, not Unix. DIR. Okay. So usually Python is installed like in program files, whatever that. Usually myself, I like to install it right in the C. I know why. So for example, the PyCharm is in here. I have 2 versions. This is the latest one I just installed today, and this is Python in here. You see it in here, Python. Okay. So so for Python in here, so we're gonna type Python. So this is like 3.70. We check together what's the latest version. 3.74. It's okay. You could use 3.70. Okay. And you could, for example, type the version. I think. Anyways. Okay. Also, so if you have a file that .py, so any file that .py, okay, all you have to, just type Python and the name of that file. What is the name of that file? .py, and it will run it for you. You'd have an idea. But of course, if you have a code that has like 1,000 lines, and you're gonna use a text editor to do it, it's very hard for you, to find the errors. It's not impossible because it's gonna give you the errors, what line, and you could go doing that. But you could always do that, right? Okay. So if you need to install any package like pandas, for example, you go, for example, CMD in here. Where am I? Okay, go in here, CMD. Okay. So C colon whatever. So you could say pip install in the library you want. Let's say pandas, for example, pandas. Already installed. So you are already installed. You are using pip version 19.03. However, version, okay, there's a newer version for pip is so sure, sir. I have no problem. We could update it. So until you run this, for example, to update your your pip python-impl install. So upgrade the pip. Let's upgrade the pip. Just upgrade the pip. Very easy for any library. Just pip install the library. Okay, if you're gonna use it, it's very simple. So now let me try to install the pandas. So pip install pandas. Can you see, guys? Is it clear? Clear? Okay, pip install pandas. Okay, it's already installed. Okay, it's already installed. I have it installed. Okay, if you think of any other numpy, let's see if it's installed. I'm sure it's installed. Numpy. It's already installed. So if you have any library, for example, like to install, that's what you do. My computer I use it a lot, so I already installed most of the packages. Now, that's for what? That's for the core Python. And PyCharm, and please watch me. In PyCharm, let's go to PyCharm. Okay. If I need to add a package, I'm sure it's not here, so I'm gonna show you. So you're gonna go File. If I remember, you have to go somewhere else. You have to go. Import settings, maybe. Nope. File. Oh, settings. File. You go settings. Are you with me? File. Settings. Very good. Then you're gonna go to where? You're gonna go to look for the libraries, right? So this is the project. You see the project. And the project interpreter, as we go. Alright? Okay. So only one library installed in here, pip and setup tools. Alright? You could go to the plus sign in here, and you could search for the one you like. What do you want to like? Pandas, for example. Pandas, this is in here. Okay, and you go down in here, you see it in here? Install package. So there is package dependent, usually it depends on different packages, so we'll install it first and then we'll install the pandas. As you see in here, what does it do? Install it. Okay, let it finish.
Could you show this one more time, the last step?
Sure.
From
Let it finish first. I have to wait until it finishes, and then I do it again. So it's grabbing it from the internet, as you see in here. Do you see this in here? The circulating. And this is a big package, so. So before it finishes, let me go to here. And I can't, if I cancel it, yeah. All good?
For every new project, we need to install the libraries.
Yes.
And do we have to do it manually, or is there a way we can add it on the code as well?
Manually. You have to know what packages you need and you have them. I don't know other way myself. Let me put it this way. I'm not sure the internet is weak because I see it running in here. You see it's like circulating in here and circulating in there. Okay, while it's doing it, I'm gonna show you something. For example, let's go in here. So that's your book, the Google, anything you want. So for example, how to paste two lists together. Okay, so you'll find so much list of this. Okay, so much, examples and so much pages. Which okay. How to sort a list? How, for example, to sort a list? Oh, it's like Python. Forget to write Python. Okay. Yeah, the internet is very slow here. I don't know why. Anyways, so you see, okay, a lot of data. So list, a sort, okay, a sorting list, Python. You go to documentation. You have to have it, and you press any of the links. Okay, you'll find a lot of information. A lot of information. And the internet is so slow. That's why. Come on. Okay, so sorted the list and then by the key, whether it's reserved, not reverse, or with examples. Okay, anything you want. Okay, just write a few words in Google. You'll find live examples from multiple sources for you. So seriously, it's like, very well served language. Very well. Very well. I mean, you'll find a lot of sources, if you're gonna go YouTube, you'll find like so many, you'll find full courses in Python. And most of the programs there on the YouTube, much better than me. I'm telling you right now, all right? People are just sitting there with the environment, recording and delete recording, and presenting. Okay, just you have to pick somebody you like, and do whatever you want to do. So what does it say in here? Package installed successfully. Pandas installed successfully. So how can I know it's installed successfully? Let me close this again. So now, look, remember there was only two, right? Remember? So when I installed Pandas, what did it get with it? It got NumPy, because Pandas dependent on NumPy, it got it for you. It got the Python whatever date utility, it got the PyTZ, it got some package called 6. So when you install a package, if there is dependent packages that it has to be there, it will install it for you. All right, it will install it for you. So again, okay, let me close. Okay, if I say, for example, in here, import pandas, run it here. Come on, worked fine. Okay, if I don't have pandas, okay, it will complain. Right, it will complain. So NumPy is installed. Where is? So for example, Seaborn. Okay, if I say import Seaborn, let's run it.
It's waiting for input, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, it's waiting for input. Okay. Okay, it did complain. Why? It's line number 10. Told you number 10, and told you that import Seaborn It's not here, the CBOR is not. So what I have to do, I have to add the package first, I have to download the package. So I go File, Settings, okay, and then Project Interpreter, which one I have? I go to the plus sign here, and I have to add what? CBOR. I have to add the CBOR here. So all I have to do is install package. I hope it does not take forever. Alright, it says package, install successfully. You're going to close this window right now. I'll go ahead and say, okay, don't say cancel. So, where is CBOR? In here, see it? Okay, then I say okay, and let's run this again. It will wait for something to enter, sure. Did not complain about anything. Why? Because we already had the package, right? Alright, so now what we have to do is a recap. We have learned about two IDs. The one comes by default from python.org. You have to learn it and have to use it as a basic one. Alright, and the other one is PyCharm, right? And we just learned how to add the packages. How to add the packages for the regular Python. Pip install the package. Pip install the package. Alright, and you're gonna start writing your codes as you move on. Questions? No questions?
So, I mean, during assignments which file we need to upload, so that .py.
What?
In assignments, doing assignments, we need to submit our code, right?
Yes.
So, which file we need to do it?
Well, usually you'll have multiple PY files, text files, that extension PY, and you need to have a Word file, just show the execution output. And you zip all of it and you submit it.
So we can do it right in ideally and then.
No, you have to save it somewhere. You have to save the file somewhere. I don't need the project. Okay? So log4 is fy.py is saved.
Yes.
Okay? Usually each assignment has multiple questions, not many questions. So, and that's the other thing is a general thought about learning, that about coding. Always try to use good names. Okay, when you name files, don't name them like F1 and F2. Okay, it's not a good thing. Okay, just name them good names. When you name variables, make them meaningful. All right, and then there's two formats for variables. So, for example, in a variable. So, for example, in here, in simple code, in here, C and all of that, but usually X it has like a meaning. For example, principal. Okay, you could say value like this value, or you could have, for example, interest rate. For example, underscore rate, for example. Okay, so there is, or no, let's use the other way. It's like the camel one, the rate. So you start with a small. This is like a Java style. You start like with the first word is a lowercase, and every other word will be capital case. All right. So try to use, okay, to use like good names and name the files and all that. The other thing is always you have to have comments. You have to have a comment. So for example, you have a comment by having what? Okay, a hash, for example. Hello. Okay, this is my first code. Okay. You could, for example, here you could write whatever comment. This is whatever a value for whatever. Okay, and let's run it. Okay, comments. Okay, and here it gave you. Okay, give you error because we changed the names, right? We change the names, right? The nice thing in here, it will give you auto-completion, right? So for example, if I say, for example, z equals, and I start print, principal value, then plus, okay? Then for example, I have interest rate, all right, done. You don't have to type everything fully, okay? So the value in here, 55, for example, complained again, so line number 10, okay, C, okay, I said the print Y and Z, there's no more Y and C, right? So I could print, for example, what I have, principal value, comma, interest rate, whatever interest rate, right, comma, let's run it again, okay, see, this all syntax errors, okay, there's a value, 199, okay, enter, and this down, right? So PyCharm or these advanced IDEs, you could, help you with typing, reduce the errors, because it gives you an options. Even when you enter, so for example, let me give you an example. There is something called list. We're gonna talk. Come on. Okay. So there is a list. For example, let's say x equals list. Okay, list. For example, 1, 3. 8, 0, for example. This we'll talk about it later. List, right? So, for example, if I would like to say print, okay, x. Okay, there's so many methods come with the lists, for example, right? So, for example, if I would like to sort it, okay, so I need to sort the list. Okay, in here I could, it gave me the option for the sort, right? Let me run it. Because I did not put the parameters. Anyways, I have to put the parameters how it's sorted. But what I'm saying that you could have, like, for example, append. Let's do just append to the list. Append. Come on. Dot append. For example, append what? Let's append 6 to it. Let's run it. Okay. Let's say print, now after that print the x. Let's run it. You see, the x was appended to the list. Alright? So my point is, any list, everything is object, everything is a class. So class is built of many methods. So it will give you a recommendation for the methods available for you to use, okay? So that's the advantage of PyCharm, for example, all over this. This will not give you like the options, the methods and all. Okay, so you have to get yourself familiar to use that. Anything else? So that's the editor Notepad++. You could try it, okay? The nice thing about Notepad++ does not give you the recommendation. It does actually, it does. You could. Anyways, I like to use it. I used to like to use it, so you could use whatever you like. Okay, this is sample. There is Jupyter. Jupyter is also, you could install Jupyter, and it's like interactive. It's an interactive one. This is different resources. Visualize Code and Get Live. Okay, you could use tutorials, different tutorials. Some websites are listed for you. Take a look at them. Okay, real Python tutorial. Take a look at that. Ripple, it I already showed you, it's like web interface, right? More tutorials, take a look at that tutorials. I just listed a few recommendations for you. And the packages, okay? Then we're gonna talk about NumPy. NumPy is the fundamental package for scientific computing with Python, NumPy. I will not focus too much on Py, I'm gonna go to its son, the more advanced is like pandas. But we'll cover a little about NumPy. And by the way, you could have a whole course just about programming in NumPy and pandas. They're so huge, okay, although they are part of Pandas, but we'll cover a little bit. SciPy is like, it's open source software for mathematics, science, and engineering packages. All right, so we'll introduce you to that when we have time. And Pandas I will cover a lot in Pandas. Okay, Matplotlib. Anybody using that data science? What is the major component for the output of data science research? Graphic. You should be able to graph things, right? And you have a whole package in Matplotlib where you could graph things, right? Especially in the data science. All sorts kind of graphs, complex graphs, so we'll cover that. All right, so in here in the Scikit Learn, this starts with machine learning. If we have time, we'll start introduce you to machine learning, and then Seaboard, which is also, and many references for you here to follow. The bad news that my plan today, I'm not sure how my time just runs so quick, and I didn't have time. In the module 1, I was okay, so you have the module 1 in here, and you have the assignment. Please go over it, and let me see what's assigned for. So it's like a few codes that you need to write. Okay, write a Python code to calculate speed, whatever. So try them out, submit them. Simple code. Okay. Submit them, play with it, play with the compiler, get yourself familiar with the compiler. And if you have any questions, you have like Slack, you could, please keep Slack open, just make subscribe for it, and ask a question. So let me say hello. Okay. If you have any questions, you could share files also, you could do whatever you want to do, and you could ask your colleagues. Be helpful to your colleagues, your friends in here, so if they need help, if you're stuck in any code, all of us, whenever we hear, Justin, where is Justin? Yeah, I know that's the only thing you're good at when you are in the back row. Plus, he did the summer program with me, and he did very well. He's good in two things, sending a message, and he did a great, right? You did the summer research, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you do it this year again?
No.
No, you did
I
not?
didn't have enough time.
Okay.
Family emergency.
Yeah. So, and you programmed in Python, the summer program, I forgot, MATLAB. MATLAB, right?
Yes.
You did MATLAB?
Yeah, I think it's
MATLAB, yes. Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Justin. So, Justin said hi, and so you could ask questions, you could pose. I mean, this is the first time I tried Slack. I hope it's useful. Okay, and what else? Any other questions?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, please.
So if I use my student email on a PyCharm download
Sure.
on my PC, can I also install it on my laptop, or is it like unique per device?
You could install it at any laptop, at any computer you are, because you're gonna log in with your email and password.
Okay, cool.
So when you create an account, you're gonna create a password for that email.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like device bound.
And it's, I think, 1 year. So today when I tried to run PyCharm, they told me you're expired. So I had to renew it. It's academic account.
Okay.
So just make sure it's an academic account.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right. As I told, yeah. Yes.
So when we upload the assignment, you have the Py file and is it a Word document as well?
Yes. So the Word document is the when you execute the program, right? So it has to give you an output, right?
Okay, that's second window that opens up.
Exactly. So you don't. I mean, his question is about the Word file for the assignment. So let's say for this assignment in here, how many programs you gonna write? 4. Okay. So how many source codes you have? 4. And you could put the sample output in one file. Call it sample output for question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4. Put it in a file and upload it. That's all. All right.
Only the
So-
output or the code?
What?
Only the output or the code as well?
The code, you're putting the source already.
So .py file will upload .py file. I mean, saying the .py file which we are
You're
creating.
gonna zip everything in one file.
Yes.
So basically in Canvas, listen to me, in Canvas, you will upload one file, which is a zipped file, which is a compressed file that including the codes and the sample output.
I think, I'm not 100% sure if this was already answered, but can you have all of like the solutions to the code on one file, or do you want like each answer on separate files?
We're gonna have one output file and multiple source codes.